Okay, we're starting a little late, but that's because things are interesting. I am doing some modding today. I didn't know if I would, but here we are. And the problem from yesterday, I solved. Play this from the beginning. The problem sorry, not from yesterday. Friday. With like mix-ins and stuff. I fixed that problem. And I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of time verifying that I got it, but I'm pretty sure I did because the mixin's loaded. So mainly I'm just like so over this right now. uh and so I needed to add this. Hello. This. I need to add that. And when I did that, it worked. Whoopee. Good stuff, you know? So now it works. And so I have here in my Thaumcraft mix-ins, I have mixed in into the focus engine. And the idea is I can use this to analyze the focus package and break it down and basically figure out what it is that it's doing. I have a reference to the caster, so I know who's actually casting it, which might be important. And I guess I can analyze it with get focus effects. Because focus effects is the root node, right? So And I guess I can figure out from the focus nodes what we end up having here. I can do this. And there's different aspects. Now, should I set the damage based on the aspect, or should I set the damage based off the other stuff? Let's see. What are all these things aspects? Your aspect is air. Your aspect is entropy. Your aspect is death. Your aspect is earth, obviously. Your aspect is exchange. Your aspect is fire. Your aspect is flux. Your aspect is cold. Your aspect is life. And your aspect is eldritch. Does he even do damage? No, it doesn't. And obviously heal doesn't. This is... Well, actually, it does. Okay, I think I can map it with the aspect. Because if it's a focus effect, and it has a non-null aspect, then we can just use this aspect. That seems decent. All right, let's set up a config.compat in Thaumcraft category. And what do I want to do here? I want format, right? Yeah. Now, the aspect itself, does the aspect have, like, does this go into a registry? No, it doesn't. It does. What do you say? Yeah. As described in damage category configs, okay. All the weights must add to 1. Aspects not listed here will do force damage, probably. Force damage seems like a pretty good catch-all here. Actually, wait, no, I already have that. Okay, so this is a string array, aspect distributions. Can you tell how excited I am to be to be fucking doing this? Oh god. Air. Air is probably just bludgeoning, let's be real. I feel like that's a good default for that. Earth or Terra. That's also probably bludgeoning. I can't imagine it being anything else. Fire is Ignis. And, well, I know what that one's gonna be. Who would have thought? Fire. Water. No, 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 no. Aqua. A fancy word. This is gonna be bludgeoning. Order. Order. Order, 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 order. I don't feel like order is going to do any damage. But maybe there's some integration that adds additional focus nodes and there's order-based damage or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. It's just gonna be what types do we got here? Force makes sense. We can make it psychic too, I suppose. It's like mental effects or something. No, no, don't king cat. What are you doing? Force honestly makes a lot of sense for a lot of these to be. I mean, we could also split up the damage distribution so that they're not all just a single type. Like, this could be half psychic, half force, right? And this could be, like, force necrotic. Motus, I guess, could be thunder. I don't know. We'll make it thunder. Gelum, that's gonna be cold. Crystal. Piercing. Metallum, slashing. Victus, probably radiant again. Death, necrotic, energy, lightning, exchange. Like lightning force or whatever, I don't know. No, wait. This is piercing. And then we have Metallum. Which is probably slashing. This makes a lot of sense. gradient. Mortis will be necrotic. There we go. That's all the aspects. And then I need to set up a system to load it all. And we will get back to that in a second. What do we, mod ID, integration IDs dot Thaumcraft. I think that's the thing, right? Yeah, yeah. And then this needs DDD registries. Okay, so that's just that. Okay, so this IDDD configuration, I spelled that wrong. And then it needs what, a public static void init thing, right? Yeah. Oh, this is aspect dist, not aspects dists. No such method, and what else? Like security, right? Okay. I think it's this that throws. Yeah, because it's getting that constructor. You do that in it, right? Yeah, you do it in it. Actually, you do it in post in it. Okay, I can do it in post. And this references some stuff, wherever it is. Well, I think it used to. Oh, well, it does here. Wait, are there more than just these ones? Oh my gosh, there's a lot more. Okay, that makes more sense. Precantatio? What am I even saying? Oram, that's probably... I don't know, I don't know, dude. What kind of damage types I have right now? Because apparently I can't even remember my own freaking damage types. Yeah, it's probably force as well. Alchemia. I guess I could make this like acid or something. I don't know. Is this probably the most accurate? No, probably not, but that's fine. It doesn't need to be. Is that how you spell it? Yep. Hello! Hello! It should be this 0.5 by and type. Thank you for dropping in. Appreciate. Hello, hello. How you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Where's Lux? Let's make Lux also a bit dependent on Psychic. Something like that, I guess? I don't know. Alienus. Yo, yo, how's it going? I have solved my Thaumcraft problems, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I have gotten it to work, and that disappoints me greatly. How'd I solve them? Oh, you're gonna love it. So, what I need to do is I needed Fermium Booter, right? So I have a thing here for Fermium Booter. All this is making sure that Fermium Booter like exists, right? It doesn't the Fermium Booter integration doesn't do anything. It basically just marks Fermium Booter as, you know, present, right? And I don't even know if this is called anywhere. Is this even called anywhere? Oh, it is. Yeah, right there. Okay, so and then I have this, which is just a standard mod integration that other mod integrations implement, but this is sort of a skeleton for things that use Fermium Booter, and all it does is it checks to see if it is enabled. It basically has its own little thing to determine if it's enabled, so you can disable it entirely in the config. And then if it's enabled and we don't have the Fermium Booter integration, we throw up a little warning screen saying that you know, that you're trying to enable integration with this mod, but you need Fermium Booter to do so. And then we also double check to make sure that any mixins that we have actually been done, and otherwise I throw runtime. This is mainly for me, which is fine, right? Whatever. But the thing is that after all that's said and done, we need to register these mixins, right? So I have, I don't think, wait, I don't think I can put them here, right? I think it's not here. Where'd I put it? Oh, I put it here. Well, that, but I have to have this little thing, which just gives me a mod ID and whether or not it's enabled again. I need to kind of keep track of that again. So Thaumcraft has a thing for that. It has a little mix-in provider thingy that just gives the Thaumcraft ID and if it's enabled. I tried to not. I probably don't need to worry about this. I can probably just leave it like that. And then that's that. This is different. Where is my optional mix-in thingy? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? I can't remember where I put it. I put it in integration, right? There we are. Here it is. This optionally, this was like the hardest thing. This is, I don't need this anymore either. what this is going to do is it's going to try and register these mixins with Fermium Booter. It's going to like try. And it's going to hinge on whether or not the mod is loaded, but I can't do the check to see if the mod is loaded right now. I can only do the check to see if the mod is loaded later, because at this point the mod isn't loaded. But I need to know if the mod is loaded to load the mixins, because it's dependent on the class obviously existing, right? And then I register the mixins as having been enqueued and stuff. If we get a no class def found error, then that means that we don't have this class. This class wasn't found. This is the only class that would not be found here, which means we don't have Fermium Booter, which means we don't enqueue these mixins, so it's fine. I have a way to track if we get to here, then that means we loaded mixins with Fermium Booter, which means this class exists, which means we have Fermium Booter. All of that is to say that in here, I can now try to load mixins with Fermium first. And then if it exists, we load our optional mixins with it. I use Fermium Booter to load my normal mixins because I can't load my mixins this way because it just doesn't work with Fermium Booter, because Fermium Booter changes the way mixins work and it like can't read my file correctly or some shit. It's weird. Well, it was weird, but I fixed that, and I'll explain that in a bit as well. So we try loading our mixins with Fermium. If it doesn't exist, then we get no class def found error because we don't have this, so then we load our normal mixins. If we have this, then we load our optional mixins. This makes sense. Everything's fine. However, this still didn't work. And I have to do it in specifically this order because there's no like exception thrown from here otherwise, and so it just like doesn't work. But I had to do it this way. And that's because for some reason, where's my mixin? Here. It couldn't like it could find this file, but the file was invalid because I was missing this for some reason. For some reason you need the target. Now, without Fermium Booter, I don't need this. Without Fermium Booter, this works fine. Without this. With Fermium Booter, I need that. Why? I don't know. I don't know why this fixes it. But it does. It just works. So, alright. Whatever, dude. If you're gonna work, you're gonna work. I'm not gonna complain or bitch. So now my mixins work. Now I can mix into... Where is it? This. I can mix it into this, which is when we are running the focus package. And I've actually verified that this works. I've actually seen this in the console, which means I'm actually throwing this. Like, this is actually happening. Where's my focus engine? Focus engine, please. It's actually happening when we run the focus engine. When we run the focus package. We're like right before this line is where we are. And then what I can do is I can take a look at this focus package, I can break it down into the individual focus effects, and then I can assign each aspect, which, Jesus Christ, Thaumcraft, have you heard of too many aspects? I can assign each aspect a damage distribution, and then for each focus effect that has a corresponding aspect, I can average all of their damage distributions together to create a unified damage distribution for that particular spell, which means, yes, you can customize the damage distribution of the spell by changing the aspects, by changing the focus effects you have. Even if you have focus effects that don't actually do damage, they will still affect the damage of the spell. I might have it like that. Right? So like if you had a focus effect that had a census aspect, but the census aspect didn't do damage, it would still affect the damage of the spell if the spell did damage. Like let's say you had a split node and you had it do fire, you had a fire effect, and then you had the census effect. It would actually combine. I'm thinking of doing that because otherwise I now have to list which ones do damage and which ones don't. And I think that's a little weird. This means you can still have like a spell like that does like that attacks the same way the fire effect attacks, but you can actually change its damage distribution by changing the aspects that are present in the spell. I feel like that's an interesting system, right? Even if one of the aspects is just like, oh, heal me, then it'll do a touch of radiant damage, even if you're not healing the opponent and you're just healing yourself. But granted, at the same time, um, I believe these spells, they can't target multiple things. Like, they can't target you with beneficial effects and then also fire something that, like, damages something else. So, like, all these effects are applied on, like, the one target, right? Or, like, all the targets that are captured, which means they're all going to get these effects. So, if it's, like, a heal and fire, it's like, yeah, it should do radiant damage for the healing. If the healing is to do damage, right? And then it should do fire damage for the fire, right? And then if you hit like a zombie with it, that will actually be like 50% fire, 50% radiant, and the zombie will actually take damage because that's how the healing effect actually works. It actually does damage to undead. But if you damage a creeper with it, it'll take fire damage from the fire. Like it'll take damage from the the amount of damage it takes will be from the fire, but it will also be healed by the healing part, but the damage distribution of what it takes will be fire radiant because it was affected by both aspects. Did that make any sense? You can have the same spell that like does damage the same way, but you can change its damage distribution by changing the focus effects that you have on it. So now I need to list damage distributions for every single one of these. I thought it was only these ones because I was scrolled to like here, right? And I was like, oh, it's just these ones, easy peasy. And then I was like looking at the aspects a little more, and I'm like, oh wait, there's so many more. God damn it. So I am here, and this is like Eldritch, and this seems like psychic necrotic, but maybe like more psychic. I don't know. Fundamentally, you could configure this to be however you want. And some of these might not have any like focus effects associated with them. Like maybe there's no focus effect that has the aversion aspect, so like putting aversion here technically doesn't make sense. I should get rid of this. This doesn't need to be there. But for the sake of completeness, especially considering I believe the Thaumcraft API does allow you to add different focus effects like as like mod integration. So just because base Thaumcraft doesn't have it doesn't mean there might be another add-on that doesn't. So I'm just trying to cover all my bases with this and capture everything. And basically things are going to be doing a combination of necrotic, psychic, radiant, or force damage. Basically, that's mostly it. Like this could be like acid fire probably for alchemy. I thought of maybe tying it to the aspects here, like the base aspects, right? Um, but A, that's more rigid. If someone wants to do that, they can do that. B, the base aspects, which are these ones here, like air is bludgeoning. There's no way it can't be bludgeoning. Earth is bludgeoning. There's no way it can't be bludgeoning. Aqua is bludgeoning. There's no way it can't be bludgeoning. Like half of these are bludgeoning, which means I just can't. I just can't make it bludgeoning. I can't combine them like this because otherwise, like everything's just gonna be bludgeoning. And besides, like void being air and entropy, that shouldn't be like entropy was force. That shouldn't be bludgeoning force. That doesn't make too much sense. Void should be like a bit of force necrotic. That makes a bit more sense. And life obviously should be radiant, but if none of these have radiant, then there's no way that this is going to be radiant. If we combine it like this, so life would just be bludgeoning, bludgeoning, right? Like I don't want to do that. It doesn't end up working out. Now, if you add custom damage types to DDD, which you can do, you can have an air damage type, an earth damage type, a water damage type, and you can go to town, right? So like that's very much a possibility. It is not my job to add those types in though. Those are custom types that can be added by craft tweaker scripts and stuff. So Anyway, this was like psychic necrotic. I don't really want to go too hard with default values here and be like, this should definitely be this. I just want to assign default values so that it has it. Like flight, velatus, look, that's just bludgeoning. All right, you get smacked by wings or something. I don't know. Whatever. It's just bludgeoning. If you want to change it, you can change it. Herba, you know what? We can do like a piercing poison distribution. I'm okay with that. Considering not much here does poison. Instrumentum, so that's tools. I'm thinking like piercing, slashing, probably. Maybe piercing, slashing, bludgeoning. You know what? Let's do all three. Bludgeoning will make it at like 0.4, and the rest will make it 0.3, just because I don't want to do like 33% of each, because that's... I don't know, it's weird. Technically, DDD will allow that, even though it doesn't fully add up to 1, but I don't want to do that. Slashing 0.3, and then piercing 0.3. I did that in a really jank order. Whatever, it's fine. Craft, Fabrico. I sound like I'm speaking exotic languages. I don't know, like a very similar thing, right? Like we'll do like bludgeoning, piercing. There's going to be a typo somewhere in here. Like one of these entries isn't going to load properly because there's going to be a typo. I should write a parser, like a Python script that will just parse and check to make sure it's a valid entry. It just runs it against some regex and goes, dude, you're good. Machina. Dude, I don't know. Like slashing Bludgeoning. Sure. Slashing, bludgeoning. Sure. Sure. I'm gonna do like 0.3 slashing and then 0.7 bludgeoning. Sure. Works for me. And trap, which is vinculum. Words, dude. What are words? There's gonna be two types. Like mainly piercing, so maybe 0.7 piercing, and then 0.3 slashing or something. Spiritus. How do I define spirit damage? Like, hello? Like obviously some form of psychic. And then maybe radiant. Like 0.3 radiant or something. Because mind, cognito, that's 100% psychic, just alone. Like, there's no way it can't be anything else. Don't delete everything, please. Please, stop. So, census, not census, census. I don't know. It's gonna be psychic. I don't know what else to make it. It's just gonna be psychic. Aversion, probably just psychic. Like, what the fucking else do you want me to make it, bro? Probably just psychic. These are all probably just psychic. Protect, which is Premunio. Did I spell that right? I have no idea. Probably radiant. We'll just make it radiant. And desire is probably like a you know what? Make it like psychic necrotic for desire. Desiderium. Exanimus is probably necrotic. Bestia is probably like 0.5 piercing, 0.5 slashing. And Humanus. There you go. That's all of them. So now, that's the Thaumcraft category. Oh, actually, that's not what that's not where I want to put it. I want to put that. I want to put that in the default values. Just kind of define off that section like that. Do this, and now paste that in here. This is a final string array. This is going to be in at link mod config dot compat category dot thumb Thaumcraft category. I put a thing, right? Yeah. Aspect dist. Aspect distributions. There we go. And there's a couple of damage types unique to Thaumcraft that I'm gonna also define. I might as well do that now. Where was that though? I believe it was under. Oh my gosh, dude! This Thaumcraft integration has killed me, dude. I don't even know if I exist anymore. Damage source. Damage source Thaumcraft. Taint, tentacle, swarm, dissolve. Don't fucking know what half that is. Damage source, indirect Thaumcraft entity. Where are you even fucking used, dude? No, nowhere. Nowhere. Why do you exist? Right, because I can see where this is called. No, not this. This thing. Okay, where is this called? Or where is it referenced? From effect. Right, see? There you go. Potion, Flux, Taint. And then this tentacle. It's somewhere. It's somewhere. But this, I don't know where the heck. Like, this constructor isn't called anywhere. Why does this exist? It probably existed at some point, but it was not used later on. Honestly, if that were used, it would be so easy, but it's not. And I know it's not, because if we go to focus effect, like Earth, for example, it causes thrown damage. It makes, like, negative sense, dude. Why are you thrown Why? Why? Why are you thrown damage with the target its own source? At least this gives me a way to classify it, right? If I'm running focus package, if I'm running focus package, and then there is damage that is caused in this exact way, where it is thrown damage, where the target is itself the immediate source, and then the caster is the immediate, or is like the indirect source, then I know it's like one of these, and then I can just classify the damage like that. Right? It's just the type of damage distribution will be different. Anyway, so what I want to do is in the Thaumcraft integration, which I have lost now. I want to do aspects dot contains key entry dot get key, probably, right? Like, yeah. Okay. We can do a little verification. Which is what I had originally done in Electroblob's wizardry. But I no longer do that because I can't do that anymore. Because by the time I load this, I don't have, like, the aspects might not exist. I might not be able to verify their existence. So I have to do it now. I can just throw a quick little warning saying, like, Bop, you fucked up, bro. Yeah, there's a couple distributions here. Okay, so I'm gonna need a package for this. Alright, this is gonna be the most interesting thing ever, because basically I need a predefined distribution whose damage distribution is dependent on a lot of things. Like, I need a predefined distribution, and then that predefined distribution is going to... Maybe it creates other predefined distributions or something. I don't really know. But all that matters is that the actual distribution is variable, which is the tricky part, yeah? Do I need it to be final? Because I need to... I could have a capability. Because we do have a reference to the caster. If I attach a capability on the caster that just tracks the last focus package... It could work, it could work. Does it need to be remembered, though? No, it doesn't need to be remembered. I don't actually need to save that information. Because anything that's doing damage, the focus package is being run the exact time it's being done damage. So that means on that game tick, it will be inflicting damage. Which means I don't need to care. I just need a little tracker that just tracks the damage distribution. Or sorry, the most recent focus package. I don't need to save it anywhere, I just need a little tracker to do that. Because whenever a focus package will be run, the caster will be the thing. Yeah, that's fine. Weirdly, that's not how you spell weirdly. Now, if another thing comes along that introduces a focus effect that does damage differently compared to this, I don't know what to tell you. Thaumcraft's just weird. Alright, this is the best I can do. Because I can know what the distribution is. Like, I can know what the focus nodes are. I need to know when the focus nodes are doing damage, and the only way I can do that is here. Return source dot... oh wait, no, I also need the target. Entity hit dot attack entity from cause thrown damage. If the entity hit is not null, we use the entity hit. Otherwise, we get the caster. Wait, what? Okay, follow me here. Follow me here, right? Follow me. Follow me here. If we're hitting an entity, and the entity hit is not null, then we will attack the entity that is hit with thrown damage. And if the entity hit is not null, the direct target, like the direct source, will be the entity hit. We've already discussed that that makes very little sense. But what also makes this very little sense is we have a check here and a check here that do the same thing. This will always be true because we're only in this block if this is true, which is the exact same thing. Now, maybe if we're running in parallel, right, or we have a bunch of threads going on, I guess you could argue that the entity might be non-null here, and then by the time we get here, the entity, like, somehow despawns. Now, here's the funny part. It still doesn't matter. Let's run the situation that it's non-null here, and then the moment we enter this block, somehow this becomes null. Then we run into a null pointer exception because this is null, and we're trying to call attack entity from on nothing, and so it doesn't work. The only way we get to this predicate is if this is specifically not null. So this is always true. So why is it here? I don't understand this mod. I don't understand it, dude. Alright, well, whatever. I don't... Because I thought, oh, maybe I should have a check like this just in case. And then I realized, no, I don't need a check like this. This check makes no sense. And it's not a decompiler thing. Because this is decompiled, right? I don't have the actual source from GitHub. But it's not, because this was... Well, it's probably not. I guess you could argue that maybe this is a decompiler thing that's putting this here like this, and maybe, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Either way, the target is itself equal to get immediate source. If it's thrown damage, and we have this. This is just complaining that it's not used, right? Yeah, okay. And then for these two things, For these two things, I could just, again, do damage distributions and get categories, but I want to do it differently. We need a little tracker, right? So where are you? Now we can analyze it when the focus package is being run, and then in this focus tracker thing, do I want a multi-map that maps UUIDs to the aspects? Because at this point, I would then know all the aspects from all the focus effects here, and then I just pass that along. We have this intermediary class that tracks the aspects for use later. Okay, so this is the map. Multi-map builder. There we go. UUID aspect. Wait, no. Hash keys dot array list. No. Hash set values dot build. There we go. No. This I need this dot casted aspects dot put UID aspect. Remove all values associated with the given key. Yeah, so I need to remove all the aspects associated with this, and then add all these ones in. What is this? What does this return? Oh, it's a collection. Okay, it can be a collection. There we go. Right, so this is all we need to do. So then, in our mixin, finally, I can do focus package dot get focus effects. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to open the type hierarchy for focus nodes. There's focus effects, there's focus mediums, now obviously these aspects shouldn't affect it. What's your aspect, buddy? Oh, you have no aspect. That makes sense. So those are focus mediums, right? We want focus effects, because these are the mediums that they are put in, and these are, like, things. So, they have to be instance of focus effect. Wait, but this is get focus effects. It's an instance of focus effect. Add it and continue. It's an instance of focus package. Do that. If it's an instance of mod, do that. Okay, I just need to do this, because this is all already just focus effect anyway. which is not going to be medium or focus anyway. So I don't need to filter that. I knew what I was doing before. I don't need to wrap it in a stream. Actually, I could do Thaumcraft focus tracker dot get instance dot track aspects focus package dot get caster UUID, and the aspects will be arrays dot stream focus package dot get focus effects, and then we will map it to focus effect get aspect. What are you doing? What the heck have you done? Get aspect dot filter objects not null. Or I guess I can just do predicates, right? Not null. So this, yeah, so this will now return not null. This will filter all the null aspects. And then dot filter dot collect. Can I do two array? I can do two array. It'd be better if I just did this. I either iterate over it, or I do that. Those are my choices. Which means this is probably better off being an iterable, just like I had before. And then this is better off not doing to array, but instead doing a collect. That's all we have to do. After class. Alright. Enjoy your class. See you later. If it's caused by focus effects, I'll have focus tracker dot get instance dot get aspects for the target. Now this get, will it return an empty? If note that when contains key is false, this returns an empty collection, not null. Okay. Get tag, that's what I want. So I get the tag. I might as well do a composition of functions. So A goes to B, and then B goes to C. This is Thaumcraft configurations dot aspect this get, and this is aspect get tag. I just do get base categories, that's fine. I don't need to do actual get categories because it doesn't matter. Right. It's a set of sets. What versions of reduce do we have? We have a binary accumulator. Need to do one of these. S1 dot add all S2, and then return S1. Might be better to reduce here though. Interesting. Open the declared type. Let's get the type hierarchy. This is going to return a damage distribution. The categories. That's gonna be here. Okay, so it is a separate set. Right? So because we create a new hash set with the key set, and then we remove the sets if those things are like that. Okay. Which means I can add to it. And now I want to try and be very efficient with this. If is damage caused by focus effect source target. Otherwise, this is going to return optional dot empty. The Thaumcraft focus tracker dot get instance dot get aspects. No, this is not for the target. This needs to be for source dot get true source. And any source indirect entity in. Does an instance of check return false for null? I think it does. Okay, null check is not needed. Now, the focus package, is it? It can be, it doesn't have to be a player, right? It's just a caster, yeah. If the caster is null, it tries to get the caster. If the caster is still null, then it tries to find the caster anyway. Okay, so it tries really hard to find the caster. Gotcha. Okay, that's fine. This is a safe cast. Now this is where things get interesting. What the heck is going on here? My keyboard turned Canadian on me. What am I even doing here? Dude, the keyboard turning Canadian on me actually completely just stopped my brain from functioning. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I need to get... Right. I need to put this. There we go. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. So, I have to combine all of this together into a map, and then return a new damage distribution created by combining all of that together. Because this works because the distribution changes. It should return a new damage distribution. Wait, that was literally the whole point. It was supposed to return new damage distribution. Yeah, okay. So we map it with the aspect mapper. And now this gives us a bunch of damage distributions, and now I need to combine the damage distributions. Now I feel like I already have a system that does that somewhere, but I cannot be sure. Probably within the registries. I basically add them all into a map, and then I divide each entry in the map. This is reallocating the weights. It's not... Well, I mean, I do have this, which is probably exactly how I'm going to do it. Right at the end, just do a map.replace all. And that's going to be a list of the individual number of focuses. So we map it with the aspect mapper, and then now for a map and a damage distribution, I'm going to accumulate it by doing d dot get categories dot, I guess, get base categories. Stream for each type. I want to m dot compute I think I can just do m dot compute. What type are you? Oh, I need to... No, I need to combine them. I have a bunch of damage distributions. I need to map it to a bunch of weights, right? So I don't remember the thing for compute. Compute. Compute if absent, compute if present, and there's just regular compute. This is what I was looking for. Compute key which is specified value to be associated, function to compute a value. Attempts to compute a mapping for the specified key in its current mapped value, or null if there is no current mapping. Oh, I might want merge. Yeah, no, I want merge. I want merge. I want merge. If the specified key is not already associated with a value, or it's associated with null, associated with the given non-null value, otherwise it computes that. So merge t into what is it computed with? Is it just a function? No, it's a bifunction. Taking right. The value needs to be d dot get weight if base weight is fine for the type, and then we have float sum here. So this for each goes there, right? Okay. That for each is now there, and now I need this. It's undefined for the type R. Yeah, we're gonna make sure we've defined it here. So now for two maps, each one we do m1.merge, and we're going to do for each type there, we're going to merge m2.get t, and it's going to be float sum anyways. Oops, no, don't do that. Oh, that's because I don't have this as that. And this has now collected this into a single map. So I have that. So we collected by merging them like this. Yeah, so basically the way we merge it is we get all the base categories of a particular damage distribution, and then we just start throwing them into a map, adding them if they already exist. So, what I want to prove here is that given that all of these maps from the aspect mapper, given that all of these maps add to 1, that their weights add to 1, will the combined weight of all of them after doing all of this, will that equal basically the amount of things in the map, right? If there's one aspect if there's like if the size of the aspects if there's only one aspect involved, then the weights should add to 1. If there's 2 aspects involved, they should add to 2, and so on and so forth. And I want to make sure that that works. And I believe it does because for each weight, we're just adding them all together. Each map has a weight of 1. So each type that exists in the map is going to be a result of the sum of each of the weights of each of the aspects that have a weight in that type. So they're gonna each correspond to a particular aspect, that weight. Right, and then by adding them all together, what am I trying to prove here? Oh, actually, I know what I can. I know how I prove this. So each the weights of the map are equal to like the total the sum of the weights. Oh my gosh, words. The sum of the weights in the map is equal to, since according to this code, I am adding it all together, right? Because I am merging each entry into the map. If it doesn't exist in the map, I'm putting it in the map. If it does exist in the map, I'm adding it to whatever's there. That's what I'm doing for this. And then for this one, I'm taking the key set of one map, and then for each one, I'm adding the contents together. In which case, the sum of the weights of the map is going to be, like you just list it all out, but you can rearrange it so that you have the weights of like aspect 1, the weights of that plus all the weights of aspect 2, plus all the weights of aspect 3, and so on. And since all of those add to 1, this just becomes a count of the number of aspects. Which means that if I then divide each weight by the number of aspects, then I can then factor that out as 1 over the number of aspects, add all that together, that equals number of aspects, divide it by the number of aspects, I get 1. So now this map has weights that add to 1. So then return optional.of new damage distribution map. Boom. What are you bitching about here? Oh, this needs a name and a source. And I think I also want to change its priority to being 1. Basically, I want to do this check sooner rather than later. If the target is the source, it damages itself by thrown damage, and the source is instance of entity living base. Is there anything else? Is there anything else I can do to be more specific about it? I don't know. I don't think I can be more specific with it. So if it's a entity living base and the immediate source is the target and it is thrown, then I think that's the damage being caused by the focus effect. I could try to check if the Thaumcraft focus tracker tracks them as having casted a focus package, but for that to work, where's my mixin? I would then need to inject again at the tail of the method. I would have to inject again at the tail of the method. It runs the focus package on all of those. Because getting the focus elements from the focus package does call it does recursively get everything, but now it's going to be run by running it recursively, and I want it to not do that. Okay, then I guess we should inject into the... no, I shouldn't inject into the tail. Because I thought it would make sense to inject into the tail of the method. The problem is that that tail is going to be run multiple times. I can't do it on cast focus package either, because the spellbat attacks entities and it runs the focus package that it is associated with. All I could do is have like a tick thing It might be fine. It's gonna constantly be removing and putting it back. That's the problem. But all it's really doing, see, the problem that bugs me about this is I'm gonna be calling focus package dot get focus effects for every time that this thing does run focus package, which is technically yes what I want, but at the same time I feel like that could be not the greatest for performance, but I don't know if there's another idea. I don't even know if I should really be that worried about it. Might not even matter that much, to be honest. I don't know, I guess it's probably fine. This is jank. I hope this works the way I'm thinking it works. I really, really hope. Because my option is have a handler that removes the key from the map, and then just like don't add stuff to the map. Well, see, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, like have like remove stuff from the map on like entity tick, or don't do that. And that I say not either I'm doing something every tick, like checking something every tick, or this is just happening a bunch when focus packages are being run, which I think this is much better. There we go, this is what I wanted. And I also wanted the Thaumcraft damage. Which I don't even have. Damage source Thaumcraft. Yeah, I guess I didn't have it. I guess I closed it. Is this used anywhere? Is this used anywhere? Okay, I don't think Tentacle and Swarm are used. Is there other entities that I should be curious about? And then this does taint damage, right? Yeah. I don't know why this is a thing, but whatever. Do this, this. Okie doke. Actually, maybe it's just necrotic. That makes more sense. Spell damage type. And this should be default values dot paint distribution. Now, where is... Yeah, okay. In the damage category configs. There we go. What is this even called? Liquid Death, okay. Now, where did Lycanites do its thing? That's for creature projectiles. I don't care about that. Actually, I need to figure out what is here. Get readers for this. What does a reader do? Oh, it's just a single string config reader. Right. Okay. Simple something. Simple something. Simple built-in disk. That's what it should extend. Oh, because this can't be extended. Right. Did you do a supplier for it? Yeah. You did a supplier. Let's add a constructor for this. Let's add the unimplemented methods. Dot. Oh wait, no. It needs to be entry dot matches configurator utilities dot dist regex. Probably right. Yeah, that's what that does. And this finished. I haven't even been going for, well, I guess I have been going for a bit. All right, shuffle this and then we'll wrap this hopefully soon, because I don't want to be doing this forever and ever. How long have I been at this? Yeah, nearly 3 hours. Okay, cool. 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 Cool, 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 cool. What's this? You. This might not need to be abstract. Figure utility. Oh wait, no. This needs to be new damage distribution. Configure utilities dot parse map. This. This is going to be the entry, the k parser, the key parser, the value parser, and the default value. So the key parser, it's going to be the same thing as this, dude. Parse damage type, parse float. Yeah. Parse damage type. Float, parse float. What are you going on about? What are you going on about? Right access to enclosing field, yeah, unhandle exception type, config parsing exception. Oh, is that thrown here? Oh no, it's a try. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we got that. Okay, we make a new thing. Do this. And then return this dot enabled. Do you have a way to determine if... Yeah, you do. Return this dot enabled dot get. Let's not have that do that. That would be very bad. That, and then I need one more. and give this a name. Okay, got that. Go here. What's the problem? Oh. Nope. Nope, don't do that. Set you to this. Empty set, there we go. This dot get categories. This is going to be I might as well wrap it in an equals. It's probably a little bit better. There was something else. Oh yeah. In the focus thing, where is it? No, focus distribution. There we are. They would need to be exactly the same. Do you define an equals? You do define an equals. Fascinating. How do you define your equals? If their entity ID is the same, where is this? Next entity ID. That's probably fine. Okay. That doesn't make sense. Just return if source dot equals this dot source, then return optional dot of nullable. We'll just do of nullable. Just wrap this in an optional dot of nullable. Right? Do you do that? No, you just do that. I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, just do optional dot out then. This dot dist and then optional dot empty. And what do you do? Did you just have a set? Yeah, or you had a collection. Yeah, that's fine. Is that how this updates? Does it just do that? Oh, it checks if it's enabled first. That makes a little bit more sense. No point reading if you're not enabled. Collectors dot to list. This does not need to be abstract, it can be final. Okay, where is this used then? Okay, and this? It doesn't look like it's anywhere. Please. Use taint dist. Okay. Compat, Thaumcraft, taint distribution. This is a supplier. Solve. This should be mod config. You know what? Just get rid of this. The dissolve distribution. That's a supplier. And that's a supplier. Get readers dot for each ddd config loader dot get instance dot enqueue. Actually, can I just do enqueue all? Yeah, I can do that. That's probably a little bit better. Boom. That's done. And the integration, we need to register. Now, is there a register all that takes? No, there isn't. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't matter. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly how I did it in Thaumcraft, or sorry, Lycanites. Well, we have that too. Load mod specific data. Get disks, yeah, for each, register it. Yep, that makes perfect sense to me. Now, how do you do this? Oh, yeah, if the mod equals that thing. Event get mod ID die equals mod const dot mod ID. I didn't even wrap that in if. My brain stopped working. Thaumcraft predefined distribution dot updates. Alright, there we go. So we have a handler for that. We have that. We have that. We have distributions for all of this. We've registered the focus distribution. We've registered the predefined distributions. Now, obviously, there's still a couple of other things. We need, sorry, my throat is like super dry. Okay, we need the same thing we did with electroblobs. This thing, item formatters, that's basically what we need. Where this shows this. So basically, it's going to be like this. Because I should be able to, I think, get the focus package. It's obviously not going to be the greatest, but yeah, we can get the focus. I think this is put on I think this is put on an item. Item caster, yeah, implements iCaster. So if the item implements iCaster, we can get the focus. And we can get the focus. Now, the focus, I think, is going to implement something else. It might implement something else, but basically, with the gauntlet that you put the focus in, I can get the focus out of it, use that to figure out what the spell distribution is, put that in a tooltip. And then do the same thing for the focus as well. Probably, because the focus probably implements a thing. And I hope, I pick a god and pray, and I hope that it works. And I think it will. Again, God, I hope. All right. I think we're pretty good. We got pretty much most of everything. The only thing we're missing is the tooltips and then testing. And then we're done. And then we're like super duper done. Speaking of, I'm gonna quickly go to the Millinote for DDD, and I'm gonna just add a couple of things in here to make sure that I've verified that the mixins work. Yeah, so you have a couple of other things. Um, focus engine mixin, there was the aspect distributions, testing, making sure old mixins work too, with or without fermium. And then tooltips on focus items and caster gauntlet thing. Okay, that's good. Good for me. And then I think I just need to update. Basically, I just need to then put some stuff on the wiki. And we're good. And then this is done. And then I never, ever, hopefully, I really, really hope, really, really hope that never, ever do I have to touch this stuff ever again. So, you know. And I fixed Crash with Champions. I fixed Tech Guns Compat. Got that. I got that. Basically, the whole freaking issue tracker will be closed. And I'll probably close the one requesting the update because I don't know about it. So yeah, there we go. Then all the issues will be closed, and I won't need to worry about anything for now. Well, we hope. I don't know. My brain is like completely fried after this. It was fried before doing this. I didn't even want to do this to begin with. Uh, I wanted to look at like the April Fool's update and stuff, but now there is, but there wasn't when I started. So that's lovely. That's lovely. I wanted to look at this. Well, I'm not looking at it. Brain too fried. If it's interesting, cool. If not, whatever. So yeah, that's it. That's me. I'm done.